I'm purposely going to try and drain it down to 0%. If I drive too slow, it will arrive with 1. So I'm actually trying to drive a bit faster to arrive with 0. I've seen other people do this test, and when you're at 0, you still have several miles of range, and actually it will slow down when the battery's actually really low. So we're going to get there soon. You can see we use 482 watt hours per mile, and yeah, we're going to time how long it takes. I'll let you actually watch the entire process to see how long to go from 0 to 100. Obviously, since we can't preheat the battery, it's probably going to start slower. Normally people don't drain all the way to 0, but this will kind of let you see the entire kind of charging curve. You'll see how much time passes to go from 0 to like 20, 0 to 50, 0 to 60, all the way to 100, and you'll see how much or how long the last like few percent takes. Alright, so let's go ahead and wait for that. Alright, so here you can see we're at 0. I'm gonna do a 0 to 100% one-time charge so you can see the charge curve. I'm gonna have to zoom in onto that, but let's go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so here you can see it's 1:02 a.m. Let's go ahead and plug this. Hopefully this isn't the disabled stall, because one of them is having some issues. I hope this one's okay. Alright, so we'll plug this guy in. Doing nothing right now. Okay, it's blinking. Let's go ahead and take a look. 0, it says an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know if that's the full charge, but we'll see. Right now the AC is still on. It's defogging. Let me get you guys into the tripod here. And there we go. Okay, let's see. I think the only important information is going to be right there. So let me zoom into that, and yeah. Alright, let's see, how am I going to do this without dropping the tripod on the ground? So we'll just zoom in. We're already at 1%. You can see the date, or sorry, not the date, but the time. And you can see the charge rate. Obviously, the charge speed will change as it gets higher and higher, so keep that in mind. Alright, it's not always going to be the same rate. You can see we're charging at 235, now 247 kilowatt, 254. Okay, and this is without preconditioning the battery, because since we hit 0, it didn't have any charge to warm up the battery. So this is what it is at that max. Let me see if I can adjust this to get more in frame. Maybe zoom in a bit more. Okay, and show more. There we go. So I don't know if then you can watch the time as well. The pollution thing doesn't really matter, so maybe I should, we'll just leave that all in view. Okay, we're already at 4%. Okay, charging relatively quick right now. 254 kilowatt. That's probably about close to the fastest I've seen. I think it goes up to 256 I've seen at some point. Alright, but there we go. Alright, we're at 5%. Let's actually also turn on Sentry mode. And let's also lock the doors. We do have the defog running at 67 degrees, and you can see it's 43 degrees outside, 43 Fahrenheit outside, and the temperature is set to 67 for the AC. And yeah, you can see we already hit 6% in what, less than 2 minutes. Okay, and yeah, we're charging at 254. It says we'll take about an hour and 15 minutes, so we'll just let it go. 7%. Okay, and in real world use, most people aren't going to charge to 100% unless they need like a slight bit extra to make it to a next charging spot, and usually you'd only do that if you're going on a long road trip, or if you bought the vehicle and wherever you drive daily is like just out of your reach, that you need to charge up to 100%. I don't know many people that are going to be driving over 200 miles one way to their destination. If you drive slower, you can get, well, nobody's gonna drive on the freeway that slow, but if you drive like city speeds, you can get over 400 miles of range. assuming the kilowatt hours or watt hours per mile and the battery capacity is correct. The battery capacity is supposed to be 123 kilowatt hours, and I've seen if I drive like very efficient on city streets, I can get around 250, sometimes a little bit less kilowatt hour, or sorry, 250 watt hours per mile. All right, which yeah, so 4 miles per kilowatt is, if you're doing 250, that's 4 miles per kilowatt, right? So if you have 123, multiply that by 4, that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4. That actually almost gives you 500 miles of range. But yeah, that's if you're going from 0 to 100% and draining it all the way back down, and if you're driving really efficient. So most people aren't going to be getting numbers like that because they're not going to drive like that all city speed non-stop. And then also there's that vampire drain where if your car is just parked, especially with Sentry mode on, you're going to be draining anywhere from like 5 to 10% a day. So keep that in mind. Yeah, and also if you have all that data sharing on, because Tesla uses the car's computers to basically train the neural network, so it's constantly going to be like uploading footage that you've done over like your drives if it detected anything, and any other like analytics or other things. And then yeah, definitely if you have the Sentry mode on, it's going to be running the cameras trying to figure out if anything weird is happening around your vehicle, so that's always going to be using power. I don't know what's going on here. The charge rate just dropped to 26 kilowatt. That doesn't make sense because it still says we're gonna finish in an hour 15 minutes. So what is going on here? I don't know. I'm just gonna let it go. Maybe this charger's being weird. Maybe this is just part of the process to maintain the batteries. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't want to mess around with it, and this will just be kind of like, you didn't know, maybe you plugged it in, you fell asleep, or you're taking a nap, you're like, I'm just gonna let it charge all the way. Usually, even though it says an hour 15 minutes, it'll get to like 99 and then it'll say like what do you call it? I think it says like calculating or something, I don't know, but anyways, it'll be doing something, and then that last percent just takes forever. And if you let it actually charge, it's gonna take a lot more than the hour and 15 minutes. So I don't know if this 26 kilowatt thing is even accurate or if it's just randomly showing that for whatever reason. Makes no sense. Let's see how long it takes to go to 14%, because that's really weird.
Might be a broken charger.
Might be a broken charger. It's possible it could be a broken charger. If anything, there's another charger right next to me. I could plug that one in as well. So let's see what happens. I'll let it go for a bit, and yeah, see, it's weird, it's charging really slow. So I don't know. It did tell me one of the chargers were broken. I think it was 3C. Let me actually get out and check which charger we're at. No, we're on 7A, so I don't know. But it's also being weird. See how long it's taking to go to 14%? So let me unplug this one. I'm gonna try and plug the other one in and see what happens. Alright, there's another charger right next to me, so oops, I need to unplug this first. I'm gonna move forward and plug it in and then see what happens. Alright, let's move forward and then see what happens. Okay, let's let's see. So I'm just gonna move forward into the other stall that's in front of me, which is 2A. Okay, and then we'll try that one out and see. There's actually also another one right next to me that I can plug in, so there's 3 chargers here that I can try plugging in next to each other, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's plug in the next one. Try number 2. Let's see what happens. Is it also gonna charge really slow? No, maybe something's weird. I don't know. It's still charging pretty slow. Oh no, it's speeding up. Okay. Yep, so I don't know if something was weird with that charger. Oops, let's set it to 100 again. Let's see. Yep, it's speeding up again. So I don't know what was going on there, but for some reason the charge speed just started going super slow. So I don't know. But yeah, as you can see now, it's going back up again over 200 kilowatts. I don't know what happened with that other one, that it all of a sudden was charging super slow. So I guess keep an eye on it for a little bit, make sure it doesn't randomly start slowing down. Okay, and you can see now we're at, again, 254 kilowatts. So I guess that's the max that it goes. Obviously it's cold outside, so it shouldn't be overheating the cable or anything. That wouldn't make sense. And you can see we're charging at 633 miles per hour speed, 254 kilowatts. Right, we gained 3 kilowatt hours already. And yeah, I set it to charge limit 100%. You can see it says now it's going to take 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I don't know what happened, why it was randomly slowing down. Something with the charger, I don't know. It could possibly be something with the truck, but as you can see, we went to another charger and now it's fine. So yeah, if your car is charging super slow, maybe try plugging into another charger just in case. Sometimes it could be the vehicle itself, sometimes it's the charger. So yeah. Alright, now it's all running at the same 254 again. So usually after some time it won't be able to charge at this speed anymore, and it'll gradually go down. So I'm not exactly sure at what point that is, but we'll find out. Okay, I think we originally started this at 1:02 a.m. or something around there, but it did start going slow for whatever reason. I don't know why. Let's see, hopefully it will hold this charge speed. Let's actually turn off the air here. Oh, I turned off the air and then the fan sound changed. So I'm assuming that noise is like the fan trying to cool the inverter or something. Actually, it shouldn't be an inverter, right? Because it's DC direct current to the battery. Okay, you can see it's already dropping down, 249 kilowatts now. That's at 21%. Now it's dropping, 248. We're at 22%. Alright, the kilowatt is slowly dropping. Oh, it's bouncing up and down. Went to 48 and back to 47. Now from 246, 245, 246, 244. Okay, so it's slowly dropping. And yeah, we're at 23% now. 242 kilowatts. Still says 1 hour and 10 minutes remaining. Now it dropped to 239 kilowatt charging speed. Okay, so it doesn't really maintain the max charge rate for very long. I don't know, because I think they said they were planning on doing what, a 500 kilowatt or something, or I don't know, 350 kilowatt charging speed. But if they have a 350 kilowatt charging speed and the charge rate is already dropping this fast, how long is it going to even do the 350 kilowatt? Is it only going to do it for like the first 10%, 15%? I don't know. But so far, if you see this kilowatt is dropping, I don't think putting a 350 kilowatt charger is really going to do anything. Because I'm assuming the charger is dropping this current, not because the charger can't handle it, but it's more because the battery, like, to prolong the life of the battery. I think that's something that Tesla built in. Alright, oh, look, what's going on? It dropped out again. Maybe it is the charger, I have no clue. That's really weird. Shall I back up and plug in the other one again? Let's try the other one. There's one right behind me. I'm gonna try that because that's not gonna work out if it's only 26 kilowatt. Let's go and plug again. Oh, why are you pressing stuff? What'd you do? Why'd you close my stuff? I need to record everything. What the? Why'd you?
Just to keep the 100%.
Just leave it. Okay, got it back up now. And we're gonna do the other charger right there. Okay, so I don't even need to back up all the way. I'm just gonna go halfway in this parking spot because there's another charger right there. So let's plug in and take a look. What happens here? Let's see if it does the same or if it's still gonna be messed up. Okay. Popped up a thing that said the charge didn't finish, and then it asked if you want to keep the charge limit, so my brother told it to keep it. And yeah. We're at 28% now, and it's charging fast again. So I don't know what's going on with the chargers. I don't know if the truck is trying to prevent something. I don't know. It's being weird. So, we'll see. I'm also kind of wondering if I were to leave it at that low kilowatt, if it's going to eventually go back up or if it's just going to stay low forever. I don't know. If it happens again, I'm going to leave it alone and see what happens. But yeah, you can see we're now charging again, 230 something kilowatt. It's now less than before because we're at 30%, but hopefully it's not going to drop to like 20 something again or whatever it was. So, yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, the 350 kilowatt chargers, if they come out with it, like if the charge rate drops this fast, you see we're at 222 now, right? So if you were charging at the 150 kilowatt chargers, if you've seen those, the one big difference is if a car is parked in the shared charging stall, so there's like 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B. So if you're in one of those paired ones, it splits the 150 kilowatts, so then you only get like 74. It doesn't do the full amount, so keep that in mind. But yeah, even if no one is sharing, you'll see eventually this will hit around 150 kilowatt, and basically if you were charging at a 150 kilowatt, you'd be charging the same speed, assuming you're not sharing the stall that's paired. So yeah, but right now we're at 205. So I don't know when the 150 starts. I think it's probably around like 45% or so. but you'll see soon, unless it just drops to the really low charge rate it was doing earlier. Okay. But yeah, as you can see, it's likely going to do over 50% in half an hour, or within half an hour, assuming it doesn't randomly drop to that thing and then it just sits there. Alright, charge rate is dropping relatively fast. We're only at 182, 183. Is it gonna randomly drop to that really low speed again? What is going on here? Okay. So earlier it was saying an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes when we started. Now it says 5 minutes remaining, so that means according to that it would be like if 10 minutes passed, but actually I think it passed close to 20. So yeah, it's at 178 now. Okay, 175. It's dropping slowly. Yeah, I don't know what was causing that sudden drop to the very slow charge rate. It's pretty strange. Right. 168 now. Yeah, it's probably like close to 45% that it drops to the 150. So basically if you're at 50% or so, then it doesn't really matter if you use the 150 kilowatt charger or the 250 kilowatt chargers, assuming nobody is parked in the paired stall at the 150 kilowatt charger. So if you're at like a not very busy 150 kilowatt charging area, then yeah, feel free to use those and you'll charge at the same speed. The other trick is if you're not in a rush to get anywhere and you're okay with charging slow, I believe they have like even slower chargers which are like 70 something kilowatt, so the first gen superchargers. Alright, so they have those, and then they have the next one up, which is the 150 that splits. So if you go to a busy 150 kilowatt charger, then you can split with someone and then it'll charge slower and you can rest or go shopping longer or whatever you plan to do that's next to the chargers. Okay, now it's at 160, 159. Yeah, you can see it's slowly dropping and it says an hour remaining. So, yep. 157. The fan's doing some weird noises. Yep, so around 50% or 45% you can charge at 150 kilowatt and you probably won't even notice any charging speed difference. Let's see, it dropped to 157. Nope, it's going back up. What's going on here? Oh no, going back down. I wonder what decides or what determines the charge rate for the batteries here, because yeah, okay, now it's 152, 151. So yeah, if you're like 45, 46%, there's no point really going to a 50 kilowatt charger other than not having to worry about someone charging next to you slowing it half the speed. So yeah, now it's at 149. So beyond the 50%, using those basically won't make any speed difference, assuming it's not a super crowded charger and you can find one that you can charge without being paired with someone else. Okay, so that's one of the tricks that people don't know. A lot of people think that you can just plug at least for the second generation chargers, and there won't be any difference. But yeah, for those old ones, you'll know it's the old one because it looks the same as the 250 kilowatt ones, like the old style. Right now we're using the newer one, the really new ones, where it's kind of a solid white plastic with a longer cable. The older style has like the hollow center. It's like red and white plasticky. Those ones, they look very similar. The only difference is the cable for the 150 kilowatt ones are thicker, okay, and then the 250 kilowatt ones, the cables are thinner. And I believe the way they accomplished that was by using some liquid cooling or something in the cabling. But yeah, so now we're charging at 142 kilowatts and we're at 48%. It says we have an hour remaining if we're going to charge to 100%. For road tripping, most people charge between like 20-80%. All right. They'll let it drop below the 20%, but they'll try and if they charge, they'll usually stop around 80 because as you can see, the first, right now we did pretty much 0 to 50%, took what, like 25 minutes or so. Okay, if we didn't have that weird issue where we had to switch chargers to get it to speed back up, yeah, I don't know what was causing that. That was really weird. But yeah, people are probably looking at me weird because I'm parked in the middle of 3 chargers. So I mean, there's so many chargers here and it's really late, 1:28 a.m. But there's another car here right now. There was another car earlier that left. So yeah. Okay. And yeah, usually if you're road tripping, you don't want to charge beyond 80% unless you're just like wanting to take a nap or you're eating and it's taking extra long or something. So you're like, might as well just leave it plugged in while we eat. But yeah, if you do that, you want to make sure to set the max percentage because it's not going to just continue charging for you unless you set that. Okay? And the other thing, it's usually not good to drain your battery to 0, and it's not good to charge your battery all the way to 100%. So keep that in mind. The closer you keep it to 50%, the better. So if you don't road trip your vehicle and you're just at home charging, a lot of people look at how long it takes to charge at these superchargers and they're like, dang, so you just sat there for this long? This is just showing like the charge curve and stuff. Normally you don't really sit at superchargers and charge all the time, and it's actually better to charge at your house. It's better for the battery. It's better for you because you don't have to go anywhere. You just stay home. Once you get home from work, you plug it in. When you leave, unplug it, and then when you get back home, do the same thing, plug it back in, and you'll make sure that you always have plenty of charge to go anywhere. But again, it's good to keep it close to 50%. So if your daily commute to work takes like 10-20%, like round trip, then you'll want to just charge to like 60%, then it'll drop to 40, then you go back home, plug it back in, and then charge back up to 60, and that way you jump between that 40 to 60 range, and that's the best for your battery. So but if you're more like worried, oh, I might have to go somewhere, I want to keep the car charged, maybe I want to do like some longer trips or something. I mean, even if you're only charging to 60 and your work trip takes 20%, then you still have that extra 40% to do whatever, which depending how you drive can be anywhere from 80 to like 100 something, 150 miles of range. So yeah, keep that in mind. right? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends how you drive by a lot. Because if you drive super inefficient, if you're driving really fast, especially in the Cybertruck, because it's so, the face is so big, has more wind resistance, it's less aerodynamic. Basically, you can make your efficiency go anywhere from, well, if you're driving on the freeway, because you're probably not going to drive like below 55. If you're driving like 85 plus, you're probably going to get around 200 miles of range from 0 to 100, maybe 200 to 250, that much range. And then if you're driving like 55 or so, then you're going to get like 300 to 350. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then also, if there's wind blowing against you, obviously that's going to be different. Oh, I guess that other person was having some weird issue with their charging because they moved their vehicle and then they're plugging in a different one and charging there. But yeah, you can see we're now at 57% from 0. You can see the charge rate is going much slower now. Only 121 kilowatts. All right. But yeah, we're at 57%. Okay. And for all the people that are like, oh, like the charging, it takes so long, it's inconvenient, you have to sit there. All right. Just think about how when you have to go to fill up gas, you have to go to a specific place. You can't just go home, plug in. You can't just go to your work and plug in. I mean, if your workplace has charging stalls, pretty much you can always just charge either at home or at work. Most work offices, if they have charging, they'll give you like some cheaper rate to charge your vehicle. Not always. Sometimes it's the same rate. Sometimes it's even more expensive. But a lot of the times they'll give you cheaper rates for being able to charge your vehicle. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the nice thing is you don't have to go anywhere. You just go to work, plug it in. The only thing is, as more people get EVs, usually offices aren't going to have enough chargers to let everyone plug in. So you do want to make sure that you have a place at your house to plug in. If you don't, then most likely EVs aren't going to be right for you, because you don't want to have to be stuck sitting at a supercharger or at a level 2 charger every time you want to charge your vehicle, right? I've seen some people that they'll plug in at the slow chargers, the level 2 chargers. Those ones are basically like the faster ones you can use at your house. And for most EVs, you'll get anywhere from 5 to maybe 15% an hour, depending on the battery pack size, what your EV allows for charging, and all of that. So keep that in mind. Most people, they come home and then they're like eating dinner and just getting ready for bed and all that stuff, or doing whatever else to relax. So if you're getting home and you're doing that, or maybe you go out to go to the gym and you come back, but most people, they'll be home, and then to plug it in, they're gonna sleep or do whatever, and the car will be able to charge for like around 8 hours or more every day, every night. So if you have a level 2 charger, 50 amp, 40 amp, whatever, usually you can charge more than 80% of your entire vehicle's battery within the day or the time that you have it at home. And most people aren't going to be draining anywhere close to that daily. So having a charger at home, even though it's slow, you don't want to just use the one that you just plug into like a normal outlet that you plug like your TV and stuff into. That charges super slow. If your commute is very short, then okay, you can do that. You can live off it. But keep that in mind, it's going to charge super slow. So if you go somewhere and then you come back and you want to plug it in, you're going to get what? It charges, I think, most of the regular wall outlet ones, because most home outlets are rated for 15 amps. So it's only going to charge at 12 amp charge speed, 110 volts. I don't know what the math is on that, but it's a bit over 1,000 watts, right? So if you're driving a Cybertruck, that's going to give you like 2, maybe 3 miles of range per hour. So if you're plugging in for 8 hours, okay, maybe you get 16 to whatever. right? So 16 to 20 something miles of range. So yeah, that's not very much. And I mean, if your daily commute is that short, I don't know if you really need a vehicle. But anyways, yeah. So if you're plugging in with that, it's going to take a long time. If you have like a Model Y or a Model 3, then you use a lot less energy. You can get anywhere from like 5 to 10 miles of range per hour with a regular wall plug, depending how efficient you drive. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind. The Cybertruck is a lot less efficient, so if you're planning to use just a regular wall outlet, yeah, I don't know, good luck with that. I would think that if you're buying a Cybertruck, that's like, well, now you can get them cheaper, but either way, they're still really expensive. If you're buying a Cybertruck or spending the money to get a Cybertruck, you should be able to afford a level 2 charger at your home. Don't like be stingy on that. Yeah. And yeah, if you get the faster like level 2 charger like NEMA 1450, that's a 50 amp, or you can get the Tesla wall charger, but you do need a 60 amp. Well, that one's adaptable depending on who's installing it. They can adjust the amperage based on whatever you're plugging it in, what wires you have, but normally you would wire that up to get a 60 amp. And yeah, 240 volt, 220 to 240 volt, 60 amp, that charges the vehicle relatively quick. Right now, because I have free supercharging, I'm not sure when they're going to cut that off. They gave me a year free supercharging because the power share setup they were doing, they had something with PG&E where I guess they had to do some approval or whatever. They were working out some details or something with them because I have solar, so it's taking them a while. They still haven't finished. Well, right now all they have to do is put some little thing between the meter and the panel, but yeah, I don't know what's taking them so long to do that. I was like telling them, hey, if you want, just give me lifetime free supercharging and you never have to put that little thing in there. I'll take that. I'll take it, because with how much I drive, the supercharging is worth a lot, especially if I do more road trips and things. Doing road trips in this vehicle is nice, but if I had to pay for the supercharging, it'd be pretty expensive. I think looking at the electricity rates, if I'm driving around 85 miles an hour or something, 85 plus, it's probably equivalent from anywhere from like 15 to 25 miles per gallon cost. So yeah, and that's very different if you're in other states. California, the gas is super expensive. But if you're going to other states, I think most of the time the supercharger rates don't vary that much on like freeways, interstates, and stuff like that. So it's like you're paying California electricity prices in places where they get super cheap electricity. So keep that in mind if you are getting an EV and you plan to do a lot of long road trips. Yeah, the cost of the electricity is a lot more when you're bringing it like cross country or something, state to state, doing long road trips. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. One thing I wish I waited on for the Cybertruck, well, then I still have all the other stuff I need to add on, but I think it would still be cheaper. They started, because a lot of people weren't getting the foundation Cybertruck, they started having inventory Cybertrucks, the foundation ones, where you could actually order them and they come with lifetime supercharging. It's too bad they don't like extend that to people that purchased it earlier. I mean, obviously we purchased it knowing what we were getting for the price we were getting, so it's not like we'll go, oh, it just makes us feel like, oh man, if we waited we could have got a much better deal. But obviously there's always like the price that goes down, right, as time goes by. You know, when a new product comes out, it's always going to be, you pay like some crazy premium. like when the PlayStations came out or whatever, and then they all sell out and people are crazy and they buy them from other people so they can get it sooner for like more than double the price. All right, I don't think the Cybertruck is gonna drop to half the price. Maybe from you using it, driving it, and like buying it and then becoming like another owner of the vehicle if you sell it. I don't think it's gonna drop 50%. It'll drop quite a bit, obviously, but yeah, I mean, if you wanted to get a used vehicle for cheaper, you could do that. I've seen a lot of people now buying used Cybertrucks for a lot cheaper. But yeah, they're still being sold quite a bit. A lot of people are like, I don't know, with the media and stuff, people are like spreading so much like bad stuff about the truck. I'm like, part of me is like hoping, hey, like if you guys get them to stop building these Cybertrucks, then these become like more limited edition kind of thing, like they don't have them anymore, and then it becomes like a DeLorean thing where the few people that want them or that like them, it'll be like sought after. If somebody like crashed their Cybertruck and they're like, oh man, I really want another one, like it becomes more like now this is a collector's item or something. The only thing is, hopefully Tesla will continue to maintain them if that happens. But I don't know, I see so many people driving Cybertrucks now, at least in California, they're pretty popular. But I drove all around the US, visited every state capital, and yeah, the Cybertruck is, I think I saw at least like one a day or so. So yeah, imagine driving to every single state, like 48, well, I didn't go to Alaska and Hawaii, but 48 states, and also Canada, and imagine seeing like around one Cybertruck a day. That was back in October, so October of 2024. So as time goes on, they're going to become more and more like common. I see now several every day in California, and I know multiple people. I know some people that like personally that have them, but I know like a lot of neighbors, or when I drive around the neighborhood, like in my city, I'll see like Cybertrucks parked outside. So there's definitely plenty in my area, and yeah, I'm always seeing them selling more. So obviously it's not a vehicle that everybody would buy. It's a very expensive vehicle, but lots of people like it. If you've ever driven one, it drives really nice. The steer-by-wire and stuff, it's really nice. And going back to any other vehicle after driving this, I don't know, it just makes every other car feel like not fun to drive, not as nice to drive. I don't know, it makes all of them feel like, why is it designed like this? It's so old, like all those other cars. The steer-by-wire is really nice, and the rear wheel steering is really nice. The only thing is, when it's gonna come down to maintenance, after the warranties and everything don't cover anything, I don't know, it's probably gonna be pretty pricey to maintain this and stuff. We'll find out, because right now everything's being covered, and any like small things, like any noise or creaks that I hear, I have Tesla take a look and see. I mean, there's some stuff they can't really fix. I had my passenger door, like, it doesn't make any noise when I drive it, but when I close the door, it doesn't sound like as solid. It has something like, I don't know, there's something that makes like something is kind of bouncing around in there or something when you close it, which is weird. We couldn't even figure out what's causing it. It's really strange. They did all this stuff to try and like make the noise go away, but it's weird, because once the door is closed, no matter what kind of surface you're driving on, it doesn't make any sound like that. So I don't know what it is about just when you close the door that's different. Even like if you smack the door while it's closed or shake the vehicle, yeah, it doesn't make any rattling or anything like that. So it's really weird. But yeah. What else? Yeah, pretty much all my complaints. Tesla even like changed my windshield twice. But I was in a hurry to go on my road trip, and then I didn't notice at the top where they have the like faded tint at the very top, you know, to kind of help with sun. There's like a weird like streaky line of that gray tint stuff. I'm kind of considering putting like a blackout thing, vinyl or some wrap at the top where the what do you call it, the sunscreen visor things cover, because there's really no point to have extra glass up there, especially since I always just leave the visor up there. So I'm considering just putting a blackout strip across that area, and then that will just make it so I don't see that little streak. It won't bother me anymore, and then I won't have to worry about sun shining through that top part. I don't know why they designed it that way with that extra glass. I guess just because they're like, wow, we have the largest windshield, that's cool. Or maybe they had to put that for the windshield wiper to like wipe more of it, because if they made a shorter wiper and lowered the glass, it would be down here, and it, well, you can't see what I'm pointing to, but the windshield wiper would be like 5 to 6 inches shorter, and then the whole reach wouldn't be as far to reach the end of the other side of the windshield. So I think that's why they decided to go with that design with all the glass there. But yeah, I'm considering doing some kind of blackout thing up there. I got a few options for that, so we'll see. We'll see what we end up doing. So far I'm just gonna leave that there. But I think if I were to put something across there, where right where the magnet portion of the visor is, you'll probably end up seeing it in one of my videos. So anyways, we're now at 79%, and you can see it took about, what, 46 minutes or so with the moving chargers 3 times. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the defogger again, because now the window's getting kind of foggy from sitting here, but hopefully it's not gonna be too noisy. Okay, yeah, definitely the fog is inside, not outside. We're charging at 92 kilowatts. We're at 80%. So it's still faster than the half speed if you were sharing a 150 kilowatt charger. Not bad. Yeah, so expect, if from 0 to 80%, probably take you about 45 minutes or so. Yeah, it's now at 149. That's assuming your charger doesn't do anything weird, and that's at a 250 kilowatt charger. Okay. Also, that's if you're not running the AC and heater. Although the AC and heater doesn't use anywhere near the amount of electricity that the charging will put out. So actually running like the heater and stuff doesn't really slow down the charging much at all. Okay. So we're charging at 90 kilowatts. We're already at 81%. We've been recording what for, oh wow, 47, almost 48 minutes now. Okay. And yeah, 82%. Again, most people don't charge to 100% because it's not good for the battery. The only times I do it, again, is if I'm going on a long road trip and I see like the next charger is kind of far, or if I'm just tired and want to take a nap. One nice thing with like EV charging, the only thing I wish is they had like a, okay, I'm done charging, like you can unplug me, like in case you fall asleep and somebody needs to like charge, or they can make, well, I guess they could knock on your window and wake you up, right? But then they won't know that your charging is done. So they should add a thing where it'll have like that little blinking light when your charging is done. Maybe it flashes or turns a different color so people know they can unplug and wake you up or something. That would be kind of cool. Or the other option, well, as the self-driving stuff gets better, it'll basically say it's done, you can unplug me, and then somebody can unplug it and the car will just go and park somewhere else for the owner. That would be nice. Alright, so here you can see we charged what, for less than 50 minutes from 0 to 83%, and now to do the last 17% it's going to take half an hour. See, so that's why people don't charge to 100%. And again, also it's not good for the battery, so don't do it if you don't need to. I just want to show the charging curve, how the charge rate changes over time. You can see now we're charging at 85 kilowatts, and once it gets to like the 99, 100%, whatever, the charge rate will just like go super slow. And if I let it charge completely to 100%, you'll eventually see like how long, or yeah, I'll let you see how long it takes to do that 1%. It's gonna take forever. Right. There was one person that told me, oh, like my Cybertruck charges at 200 something kilowatt hours the entire time. I'm like, I think you mean miles per hour, because unless yours has some new special battery or something's wrong with it that it's allowing it to charge at 250 kilowatts all the way till the end, that doesn't make sense. You're gonna blow up your battery. So yeah, we're now at 85%. Okay, so charging to 85% took about 50 minutes from 0. Alright, not bad. I know people are gonna be like, what do you mean not bad? That's so long. Who's gonna wait 50 minutes to charge? Yeah, I know. It's meant for like road tripping and stuff, okay? It's not meant for you to just charge here every day at this. And yeah, again, usually you want to be able to charge at home, but if you have time, I do it because I'm making YouTube videos. Usually what I do, because I have the free supercharging, is once I'm done with all my work for the day, I'll bring my laptop with me and I'll log my work. Logging my work takes me anywhere from like 20 minutes to like an hour. So usually I'll plug in and then I'll do that. If I want to do something else, I do work on YouTube videos, or I'll just watch YouTube videos. So yeah, if you have stuff to do where you don't need to be at home or at your job site or wherever, then save those things to do while you're charging. Right, we're at 87% now. It's now 1:54 a.m. See, 30 minutes remaining, and look how much we only need. What, 13%? Yeah, don't charge to 100. There's no point. I'm gonna lay down now, because that 99 to 100, it's gonna take more than half an hour. Even though it's saying 25 minutes right now. Usually if I unplug at 99, it'll show 100% once I unplug it. So I don't know what it does with that 99 to 100%, if it's like very slowly trickle charging the battery. One other thing to keep in mind, if you charge really high charge percentage, your, what do you call it, regen braking, it doesn't work well because the battery's already full, so it has nowhere to push that power. So keep that in mind. If you charge all the way, your car, if you set it, will either automatically use the brake, or if you didn't set it, then you're gonna have to push the brake pedal a lot more. So be prepared. Once you let go of the pedal, the car will continue rolling like a gas car. So keep that in mind. All right. The other thing, if the battery is super cold, like frozen, then you get the same issue. The one nice thing with an EV is if you plug it in and you live somewhere where it's freezing cold, I mean, if you're in a garage, it's not too bad. But if you're outside in the snow and you leave it plugged in, you can have the vehicle like auto preheat itself, set to whatever time you're gonna leave. It'll auto defrost, get rid of, melt off the snow and everything for you, and it'll be all warm and toasty inside your vehicle by the time you need to leave. So that's another nice feature for going out, like if you live in a snowy area. Okay. Yeah, and if you don't, or if you live in a hot area, you can do the other way. You can cool it down so when you get inside, it's not going to be burning you. Alright, so very nice. I know it's not only a Tesla thing, there's like other vehicles can do that too, but it's very convenient. The app's very well designed for that kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know why the Cybertruck doesn't have the summon features yet. I wish they are like added just the moving forward and moving backwards the vehicle, because sometimes if you park or someone parks really close to you and it's really tight, then it makes it hard to get into your vehicle. And having that summon feature is really nice because you can pull your vehicle forward or backwards, and you can then like have your doors unobstructed. Although maybe they don't want to do that because then people will start blocking people so they can't get into their cars. Like imagine you're like, oh, I can't fit in there, let me just wedge my car between these two cars, and then the driver of the other car won't be able to get into their vehicle. So I don't know if maybe that's why they're trying to prevent people from doing that kind of thing and blocking other people into their cars, and then people will be upset if you do that. So I don't know, I have a feeling maybe that's something that's going on with that, because that feature is not difficult to implement, and they already implemented the full self-driving right now and it does really well. So I don't know why. Maybe that's why they're not allowing the summon feature that lets you move your vehicle forward and backwards. I don't know. But I used that with my Model Y a few times because some parking spots are super small, super tight, or somebody parks really close to your door, and then I just use that. It also makes it easier so everybody can get into the vehicle at the same time, instead of being like, hold on, let me get in the car, let me drive it forward, and then you guys can jump in. So yeah, it's pretty nice. The other thing I used it for is one time on the Model Y, I drove not over one of those like parking cement things, but like I had the front of it kind of going over, and then there's a part hanging down like where the wheel is, like right over the bumper, where there was a metal like rebar sticking out of that cement thing that was just barely too high. So the rubber piece that's under the bumper or fender or whatever you call it, went over that thing, and then I heard the rubber piece like basically it went over, and then if I were to back up, it would have like hit that thing. So I used the summon feature to go under, like I went under the car, pushed up the rubber piece, and then I backed the car out so that the rubber wouldn't get caught on the rebar. So that feature is nice. I don't know why. Well, I guess I explained why I think that they did it that they didn't give that feature, but I don't know if they're eventually gonna do it, or if they're just, for some reason, I don't know what's going on with why they're not giving that. Anyways, we're at 92% now. It's 2 a.m. So almost an hour, and we're at 92%. Alright, and you can see to get the last 8%, it says 20 minutes remaining. And we're now charging at 53 kilowatts. The charge rate's just going to keep going slower and slower and slower. So again, yeah, usually don't bother charging to 100% unless, again, you want to just take a nap or something on a road trip or something. Alright, I've been talking the entire time. My throat's gonna get all messed up. It's already kind of getting all scratchy. So I'm just going to let you guys continue watching the clock if you want. Obviously, you can fast forward over. If you waited this long and you're like, oh, I can fast forward, I don't know, I'm sorry. But yeah, okay, you guys can just watch the timer now. I'm not going to speed it up or fast forward it. If you want, you can 2 times speed it, or you can fast forward yourself. You can slide the little time slider thing if you want to see how long or how slow each percent's going. But yeah, all right. There you go. We'll just let it go. 20 more minutes for 7%. Alright, as you can see, 99%, and it says 3 minutes remaining. 2:13, so it's been about an hour and 10 minutes or so. And now it's at the 99%. It's gonna just sit there forever, watch. It's done. Done yet. Now it says time remaining calculating 99%. Still going. But now it's doing like this whole, what is this, full screen thingamajigger. Let's see here, can I show this whole thing? And you can see it's just saying calculating. Calculating. Doesn't show what time it is anymore, but it's been charging for about an hour and what, 10 minutes or so? Let's see how long it takes for this 1% to go. Well, let me see the clock. Oh, there we go. Oops, I didn't need to move it. Oh no, I should have left it. Just had to tap the screen. Wait, what? Oh. Let's do that. I was like, why isn't it showing the time anymore? There we go. Let's see, this last 1% is going to take forever. Let's see here. Last 1% is going to take forever. It's going to take longer to do this 1% than to do the whole 99%. And usually what happens is if you unplug the vehicle right now at that 99%, it's just going to show 100% on the screen. But I'm curious again, what will happen if I just leave it plugged in? Let's see. I don't know how long it's going to take. Charging at 10 kilowatt speed. It's gonna slowly drop all the way to like 0. because it's going to go until it drops to 0. Sit at that 1% forever. More than 5 kilowatt charging speed new. Go all the way down to 0 kilowatt charging speed. Kilowatts. Going slower. Ooh, it's at 100%. Charging complete. When did it stop? Alright, let's go. Alright, here we go. Let's go.